The only thing stopping me is I don't like the Boston Bruins. Bring Mick in here right now. But I'm starting to think that Mick Ossie's Edmonton Oilers are going to beat the Boston Bruins in the Stanley Cup Finals, Dave.
Oh, look at Mick.
That's my prediction. I'm gonna hold my final prediction down for Monday's show. Before we're gonna do it Monday night.
Yeah, okay.
But as I am right now, I'm taking the Edmonton Oilers to beat the Boston Bruins.
Wow, what's that?
And the cup is coming home to Edmonton, Alberta, Mick. What's going on?
Well, Gabe, I hope you're right, but as you know, it's a very tough run through the Stanley Cup Finals, and I love the first round because everyone's going so quick, but then they all get so banged up it slows down. But yes, we have the scoring power with McDavid, Draisaitl, Kane, the Nuge, and the motorbike man, Yamamoto. We have good goaltending now with Skinner and the Catman Campbell's coming good. But the LA Kings, they've got some more players than they had last year. But my boys here are pretty confident that the Oilers can get it done. But hey, you can't think too far ahead because it's a tough run, as you know.
The West is harder than the East.
Oh, the road is harder, no doubt.
That's the thing, Dave. I brought it up a million times. We've been doing this President's Cup thing for 36 years. All right. So, I don't know, we're going to go back 50 years or what, but the last 36 years, the team with the best record in the regular season has only won the Stanley Cup 8 times. Wow. And it hasn't happened since the Chicago Blackhawks in 2010 or 12 or whatever, that 11 run there. Yeah. So, I don't know what it is. I don't think seeding means anything in the NHL playoffs for that much. Like, in my opinion,
very little.
Yeah. Like, you look, the Canadians made the cup 2 years ago, right? Like, once you get into the playoffs, there's a lot of things going to happen. I don't want to dismiss anybody, but the only 2 teams that, I swear to God, the only 2 teams that I'm going to say that, yeah, you have no chance are the New York Islanders and the Florida Panthers. Like, hell, even the Winnipeg Jets could get on a hot run because they have Hellebucks. The Seattle Kraken are a wild card team. They're freaking good. They're like 16 games over 500. They're a good team. So it's not like, oh, they're a wild card team, they can't beat us. No, they're 44-28 or whatever the hell they are with their, you know what I mean? With their ties and losses, etc. I'm just saying, like, it is really tough, but I don't want Boston to win. I would love to see the Boston Bruins fail to shut their fans up. I like nothing better than seeing Boston teams lose. But I'm not sure anyone in the East can do anything about it.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Mick, I mean, you're up there. Is it Stanley Cup Finals or bust for like the Oilers? Is the pressure really on them?
I wouldn't say that. They're absolutely mad as any city in the world in regards to the way they love their Oilers. Sure, they want to get to the Stanley Cup, but the good and bad thing about the Stanley Cup this year is the bad thing is that the Calgary Flames are not in it, because I would have loved to kick their butts again like last year, beating those Flames. But also, guys, there's going to be 2.
In Australia. NHL's going to Australia.
I was about to say that. In Melbourne, in September, it's the LA Kings versus the Arizona Coyotes. 2 games at the Rod Laver Arena in Australia. So that's about time Gary Bettman got off his butt and done something good, eh?
All right, so I'm looking right now. Cheapest
Mick,
ticket, Dave. How much do you think it is to get into Edmonton on Monday?
It's got to be absurd. I'm guessing
cheapest ticket.
The cheapest tickets, I bet, is probably $500.
It's cheaper, $358.
Yeah.
Okay.
Still, it's game 1 of the playoffs on a Monday night. Pretty, you know what I mean? Like, in Edmonton's, you know what I mean? Like, it's a small market. It's like the ticket prices, like, it's a big market there, Kings, like, for hockey.
Against the Kings? They're playing
against the Kings. I'm looking right now, though. It's not bad, actually. You can get, like, the best, you can sit, like, really, like, close to the ice, like, for $800, $700, $600. You going to any playoff games, Mick? You going to dole out the money?
I made the call today to my Aussie mate Tristan. He's got contacts in his engineering job, so hopefully, but no, I'm not paying big bucks. Even you sit up the top, it's so steep and people just watch it on the TV anyway. There's a really nice bar.
I think we need to do a
GoFundMe.
We need a GoFundMe for Mick, I think, Dave.
To get Mick into
send Mick to an NHL playoff game. Yeah. Normally I don't advocate, let's start this and pay for everybody to go everywhere. Mick's a grown man. But I think the video footage would be fun. And we'll put you in the last row, up at the top, where it's all real steep and stuff, and you get all liquored up and boozed up, and you film it. To me, it'd be worth it, Dave. I'll chip in $50 for that.
I think I might too. We can put that out into the East.
It's like the times people were going to pay for me to sit courtside to heckle LeBron James.
That's a different story. That would be definitely a different story.
Yeah. People were like, yeah, we'll do it, Morency, for real. Because I said the only way you got to get me courtside. I said it's like $3,000, and people are like, all right, we're in. Dude, they raised like $2,100 in like an hour. It was live on TV.
What?
I was like, come on, guys. I said, you don't have to buy me a courtside ticket. But I had to get in LeBron James's face.
Oh, my.
In-game live all access continues. 53-44 for the Miami Heat. Right now, we're off and running second half. Got Mick Aussie with us. Layla Fernandez got it done. Mick, you're a big tennis guy. I'm going to the Billie Jean Cup tomorrow. Canada versus Belgium, some women's tennis. And I bet a lot of money on it in advance already. 5-1. Canada 5-1 favorites.
Right now, he's got a match.
Wow.
Yeah. I've got like $1,300 on this stuff already, and I haven't even gone yet. Wait till I go tomorrow. I see my seats right now too. I'm damn close. Like I just counted. I'm in the 5th row. I know where I am. I just looked. I'm like, whoa. I'm in the 5th row. Sort of diagonally right in front of the player. Like the player is going to be hitting sort of right in front of me. So if things get tense, Dave, I might get kicked out. I might have to cause a little ruckus.
Make sure somebody videos it just in case. It might be good. Maybe good content.
No, Wi-Fi. Because they're gambling.
Yeah, that could be a problem. Yeah.
We got to go to me and Mick are supposed to play tennis, but we got to go to a tennis event, Mick, sometime. I'm going to Montreal for the Formula 1. But the tennis is like a month after, a few weeks after, I think. It's too bad. All right, Mick. So I just want to get it out there. Yeah, Edmonton Oilers. I think they're going to win the West. And as far as the Bruins are concerned, there's something about the NHL. Weird things happen in the playoffs. I don't think the Panthers are the ones to do it. I hate to say it, but are the Toronto Maple Leafs, Dave, the ones to do it? Can the Leafs beat the Bruins in a 7-game series? I think the Leafs would choke in 7.
Yeah.
See, Mick, you agree with me? You think the Leafs will choke? You just don't like Toronto, Mick.
I like downtown Toronto. I don't like the Leafs. I don't like their fans all over Canada carrying on as if they've won Stanley Cups. They haven't won since 1965 or something like that. They're crazy. They carry on like, we're the greatest. We're the greatest.
I told Coach in Merrill that earlier. Coach thought that, like he said, Canadians stick together and stuff. I'm like, no, they don't at all. Like, that's the biggest lie ever. Canada is like 6 different countries. Like it's split up. Everyone's like 3,000 miles apart from each other and stuff. The U.S., all the cities are like right next to each other. Right? You know what I mean? Right. You can go through 5 cities in 5 hours. Like people think, like Toronto and Montreal. You think, they're rivals. They're how close are they? They're 5.5 hours apart. It's like a 5-hour drive. It's like 460 miles or something like that. Like, and that's a close city. How far is Calgary and Edmonton from each other, Mick?
3-hour drive, 2.5, 3-hour drive. But I love it up here because it's one of the most further north cities in the world that is very civilized. So there's not too many people around. Like, it's great, eh? Don't have the hassles of a big city. I love it up here.
If you say so. I'm kidding.
You've never been here, I don't think.
Joe calls it Edmonton. No, it's pretty crazy. It's hard to believe. I've never been to Edmonton.
Really?
Never in my life.
I knew that.
I've been to Calgary. Funny. I've been to Calgary with you. I've been to Calgary. I've been to Calgary. I've never been in Edmonton.
I've
never been to Winnipeg either.
I've never been there. I went to the Stanley Cup Final Game 3, Edmonton and the Carolina Hurricanes. We flew up from Vegas. We went to Game 3, and then we flew back.
Edmonton. That's pretty
it was
cool. What was it? That
in
must have been
Northlands
badass. Yeah.
Coliseum. It was awesome.
Oh, but
It
the
was
Canes,
one of
when the
best
Canes
concerts.
won, Cam Ward.
Well,
I was
they
just
won
thinking
the
back
cup.
to when the Oilers won the cup in like 19, I think it was 91. 90, I think it was 91 with Bill Ranford, remember, against the Boston Bruins?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think the Leafs would choke against the Bruins, but if the Leafs don't have to play the Bruins, the Leafs can get to the cup. You know what I mean? There's a lot of little tricks and things along the way here that I think need to happen. The Bruins need to lose to somebody, but it won't be the Panthers. Can the Rangers beat them? Maybe. The one team that surprisingly does beat the Bruins a lot is the Carolina Hurricanes.
Right.
For whatever reason. They're the ones, they're not scared of them. I don't know, they beat them in the playoffs last year. The Canes aren't afraid of the Boston Bruins. Even in the regular season, they beat them this year. It's one of those weird just sort of things, but the Bruins are in the Leafs' heads. They've lost to them so many times in weird ways. I think it's in their head. The Rangers are really, I like the Rangers to beat the Devils, but we'll get back to that. I want to get some of Dave's initial thoughts, but Mick, AFL football, I got to be honest with you, and our bro Dave even bet on it last week. I'm not just saying this. I don't like the Sydney Swans. I don't like them. I don't like them. I don't like their blonde surf boy, Baywatch looking jack off players that they have. I don't like their soft ass fans. I watch this stuff, and it's like, remember who was in the final last year? Was it Collingwood? Who was in the final last year? Mick, who was?
Geelong destroyed the Sydney Swans in the grand final. Yeah.
Okay, no. So who was in the semifinal? Who are the fans that are like Raider fans? Like they're very unattractive. They're not hot. They have Dave. There's fans in the AFL. That's who I like to be a fan of. Like Sydney, everyone's dressed well. No one's ever drinking. They're all in nice tracksuits and stuff. The St. Kilda fans are all like chugging beers and stuff, right? Who are the ones that are like Raider fans? Are they the Collingwood ones? Like they got the kids with the spiked hair and they yell at the refs like they're nut jobs, those people. That's who I need to be a fan of.
Because your Eagles are going to be terrible for a while.
They suck.
You're right. And Collingwood is now one of my second teams. People can't believe that. They play very fast running game. Big Mason Cox has become a legend in Australia, the American ruckman for the Collywobbles. Your mate Pat McAfee took on the Collywobbles as his team as well. And my mate Freemo, I went there with him and his daughter and saw them beat the Cats in round one. So they play very fast. They're a good team. Good team. The Collingwood Magpies.
Yeah, let's see if we can get a picture up for Dave with the Magpie fans.
Well, we were warned by Mick last week about the favorites not winning, and being unable to string them together, but I was pretty convinced by Morency's case, so I did put them together, and then a last-second kick or something got us, Mick. So hopefully you can steer a couple winners together. I mean, you did tell us, though, don't bet the blindly.
Yeah. It's a fun league. It's a really super fun sport. It's a fun league. Oh, we got to bring it up. Dubsy said that AFL is like for people that aren't tough enough to play rugby the other day on the show here. Said they were soft. Said it was like soft AFL. Said the league was soft. You can't hit anybody in the shoulder. Did he say this, Dave? It's true.
He 100% said this, Mick.
But he's from Sydney. What does he know? He's from Sydney.
And coming from a golf caddy, how can he say that? No, I like Dubs. He's a good fella, but he's a golf caddy. Good on him on the women's circuit. But Gabe
got some heat going there, Dave. For a sound, it's like, oh, it's coming from a golf caddy.
Yeah.
And while I'm at it, one more thing about Joe saying Edmonton's Deadmonton. Calgary's going to be dead the next month or two because the Flames aren't in it, and we are. But I've been waiting to do this for a while, Gabe. I can now wear my Adelaide Crows hat with a lot of pride. We're 3-2. We had a massive win as an underdog Thursday night against the Carlton Blues, who are sitting second, and it's the AFL Round 5, the Gather Round. So all games are in Adelaide and one game in the Adelaide Hills. So it's a great event for my home city and state of South Australia, because Melbourne get everything. They're a bit arrogant over there.
So you're telling me that all the games are in Adelaide?
Yes. And the first game tonight is in the Adelaide Hills at a place called Mount Barker as you head out of Adelaide through the hills towards Melbourne.
Adelaide Hills.
And two games at Norwood Oval where I played there with the Woodville Warriors, and the other 6 games are at Adelaide Oval where there's sellout 55,000 people. The place is going off.
Let me get the numbers up here. And guys, Matt and Parker, I just sent. We'll get some pictures up of some Magpie fans. Actually, we got Tino coming up here in a couple of minutes too. So, Mick, get your best bets. What do you like this week?
All right, I have the Dogs as an underdog against Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide were lucky to win last week, as you saw against the Swans. Take the Dogs on the plus, and I think they might even win, but that's a bit dicey on the money line. The Demons and the Cats will win. The Lions might win against the Kangaroos. First game tonight up in Mount Barker. Maybe take the Roos on the plus, but the Lions on the money line. I also like the Saints on the plus, but Collingwood probably will win that. The last game of the round will be a magnificent Collingwood.
I just want to throw. So, Mick, last week I talked about, and I did get the money back. I hammered it. I was pissed about Sydney, but I did hammer West Coast. I said Melbourne. I don't like laying the points, but they're going to kill them. And they did. What about, are Melbourne going to beat the Bombers this week by 21, do you think, against the Essendon Bombers? And what about the Geelong Cats and West Coast? Geelong are minus 48.5 against West Coast. West Coast are getting smashed every week. No, I know the Cats aren't quite as good this year, but I don't see why the Cats don't beat them by 60.
Yeah, the line's gone up to about 48. It was lower, so be careful. Be careful on that. But yes, I think the Demons will win and probably cover. The Bombers aren't bad, but the Demons, when they get playing, they are the best team in the league. Absolutely, they are.
Mick Aussie. Great stuff, Mick. We'll catch up with you next week. Go Oilers.
Go Oilers.
What's your prediction,
Absolutely.
Mick? Jets or Vegas Golden Knights? Who you got?
Oh, I hope the Jets, but the Vegas are probably looking good. But I'll go for the Jets as a dog.